roll it.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Yeah, we're back.
Back at it.
Back into his house. It's old school.
From season 1, 2. I
Yeah.
can't remember.
It's 90s lingo.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming back.
So today we're doing coffee with Dawg and Scoot.
Yeah. And it's not morning coffee.
No.
Either. It's evening coffee because we're having to like make up sessions for you.
For you.
The listeners.
Yes. All three of you.
Yeah. we're having to pull in sessions where it's not convenient anymore. it's not quite midnight hour yet, but
No.
yeah, it's all good. So you had some travel this week, huh?
Yeah, but before I get into that, so I got to get your opinion on this.
Opinion away.
So I'm running on Monday, and there's a neighborhood with a park, and they have like stone benches, and the park has a nice playground for kids, and there's 2 moms there, little kids running around. There's also like a mini little dog park, so there's like there's people around. See this guy laying on one of those stone benches. He's got his feet up, and he's like laying on his back.
Okay.
I'm not a thin guy, so it's not a matter of that, but this guy's pretty heavy, has a button-up shirt on that's unbuttoned and opened all the way up,
Okay.
and he's got cargo shorts on, and he's got his shoes and socks off, and he's laying there on the bench sunbathing while these ladies are just sitting there with their kids.
Yeah, he needs to go. So when this started, as you were kind of talking about like a park and like
I wanted to set the
I was
stage.
like, I was hoping you're not the guy.
No.
Once there was a guy, I'm like, oh, good, he's not the guy. You could have easily become the guy.
No, I'm just running through the park. Like
the mafia gets very protective.
Right.
Okay, as they should.
Right.
Okay, so now you're observing this
Right.
situation. It's definitely a situation. He's
Right.
doing it. He's not just casually. That took effort.
And huge gut. Like I'm already up. Like when I go swimming, I have like almost like a tank top on. Like I don't like. He's got this huge gut, and it's just all white and just.
Now, how close are they? I mean, obviously, it's in the same park vicinity.
So
20 feet.
it's close.
Yeah. So and
It's
they're
close to the actual where the park is.
yeah. I mean, if they don't feel threatened by it, maybe it's because he's just kind of inactive.
But
He's
Do you-
definitely present.
But do you have any shame? Like
He doesn't.
Apparently, I mean, like, go do this in your backyard.
Don't get me started, but I think there's a level of quote unquote coming out, right? So I think he's like level 3 already, right? Like, so first is just kind of quietly in social, like non-social. Then we're like, okay, do this in your own backyard. But now there's a point where he's like, maybe he's working through his own things. Now he's just comfortable being out. And like now he's just exhibiting. But there gets to be a point where like now, this is why like all the weirdos, right? Remember the episode about freak shows?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about.
Right.
He's putting on a show. This is not something that you're just like, look at that. Like he's saying, look at me. He's exhibiting the gut.
Right.
It's not a coincidence that the buttons are off and it's out and it's sunning. Shoes are off and the socks are off and he's doing something. He's doing something. He's making a point. Oh, now, well, how long is this interaction for you? You just kind of passing through?
I'm just running through. But
Right.
I'm like, I was trying to get my phone out of my pocket as I'm running and trying to get a photo of this.
Yeah.
So we could have this discussion. But to me, it's just like, do you have, I don't know. Like,
I think as present as he is, I think the fact that he's kind of just laying down makes him kind of dormant. Now, I guarantee you the moms are aware, okay? Now, if he starts changing positions in any way, starts becoming active, he's like a volcano at this point.
Right.
He's like a dormant volcano. He starts becoming active. It's like, kids, we need to go. This
Right.
thing's about to erupt.
But like, okay, then my question is like, where is that okay to do?
I would say where that's okay to do is like in a beach community. You could be shirtless. Okay, it's kind of typically we're not a beach community. Second of all, where there's others doing that, right? So if there's like a congregation of people kind of sunbathing, then there's more of them than there are of the non. But this is I had something similar. We were riding bikes and there was like an adult on one of these kid swings, and he was just swinging like really hard to the point where it's like there were like 3 other swings available, but no one's going to bring their kids over there now.
Right.
Like this guy is just like pushing the swing to the max, and he's like a grown up. He's probably like in his late 20s.
Okay.
And there's a sign that says like this is for like, you know, children under 14 or something like that. I don't know, like young people.
Right.
Or maybe like a weight limit or something like that. But he's out there doing that. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm just going to go kind of casually sit on the swing. He's like actively swinging.
Well, this was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but does that
But
still
that's
make
prime stay-at-home mom hour.
right?
They don't want that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I definitely did want it.
Yeah. Now, but let me kind of put a social spin on that. So, you said white. I didn't say white. You said white. Okay, because you said his belly was white. Okay, so if there's some other way to do that, I don't know. But if the people that were present got up and left, would it have been any different if this individual was not white? Would their reaction be considered racist if they got up and left? Similar way where people just all of a sudden start crossing the street.
Right.
You know? Like when my kids were little, they didn't, you know, they were very apprehensive of like dogs and stuff. So if there was a dog coming from like very far away, my kids are like, uh-oh, dog. There's no time to see if, you know, dog's friendly or not. It's like, well, we're just going to cross the street.
I always take my dog around.
Right.
They
So
don't
like
feel...
we did the proactive thing where we're going to cross the street. But then there was a point where like one time, like we didn't catch the dog in time. They were coming, we were coming. And then it's like, you know, there was this like reaction of horror, right? It's like, oh my God. And then the dog owner was like offended, almost like, oh no, he's very friendly. And then here's my daughter just running across the street, like screaming, right? And I'm thinking, I'm like, afterwards, I'm like, hey, that's not nice, right? Like, imagine, like, I'm like, that's an extension of their family. Like,
Right.
what if that was just like a person? Would you do that? You'd be like, oh my God, look,
He's here.
an Asian, or like fill in the blank. I mean, whatever you're
Right.
afraid of, you know, you can't do that. But is it okay, or is it not okay, or is that like where at what point does that become? Are people just leaving because it could become uncomfortable, inappropriate, or to the eye of the volcano? Could it be because of something else? Oh, you're doing this because I'm overweight, or you're doing this because I'm a particular race, or you're doing this because of my sexual persuasion, even though we had no idea what that was.
I have no idea.
I don't know,
Yeah.
right? But if people all of a sudden like, oh, you're being homophobic, it's like, I don't know. You're out here showcasing your belly. I don't know what you're being.
Right.
But if I decide to pick up my kids and leave, is what you're doing the thing, or is how I'm reacting to it the thing?
Now let me put a spin on this just to even...
We're already on the spin. This is a spin on the spin.
Spin on the spin. What if he did have his shoes and socks on? Is there any difference?
Were they like rainbow shoes or something? Or?
No, I'm just saying, like, he had his socks and shoes off. They're all.
I mean, the fact that he's at different stages of undressing. That's what makes it uncomfortable
right.
here.
But that's what I'm just saying. Like, if he just had a shirt unbuttoned and opened up and laying on the bench,
Then
but he
it's
had his
just
shoes
kind
on.
of overly casual. But like to take the socks and shoes off,
That's what I'm saying.
it took some effort.
Yeah, like literally.
You were wearing it.
You were wearing
To
it.
here.
And the only reason why I know that is like next to it was his shoes and his socks were all laid out.
Yep. That's the thing. There's not going to be a sign that always says this act is strictly prohibited.
No, I get that, but I was just like, I'm
Was
trying
he
to.
being indecent? No.
I'm trying to put in my head like, what are you thinking? Like, this is normal
He's
for
just
you?
exhibiting, dude. He's peacocking.
But aren't you ashamed?
No, he's no. That's the thing. So to be ashamed is to hide his belly and be in hiding and never come out of his hole. Okay, he's comfortable in his skin to the point where he's like, "Look at my skin. Look how beautiful it is."
It's so white.
In fact, today I'm showcasing the belly. It's on display. For future, because it's not going to get like proper exposure for like future. Right. It won't be so white. It'll be like tanned belly. I don't know. Like we have opened the kind of like the gateway. Like because there's no standards. We talked about that before. Because we don't hold anybody to any standards anymore. There's no drawing the line saying like that's not okay.
You know, you're right, because if it's. And it's funny, I kind of blame the internet for this, because if you want to go dress up as whatever, you know, back in the day, like if you found out that Joe is dressing up as a woman, you're like, all right, get the FBI, like
Well,
Joe,
you wouldn't know.
But if you found out, you'd be like, all right, Joe, you got to go. But now it's like, you know, back in the day, you go in the chat room, oh, I like dressing up as ladies, and now they're all at the Hilton.
Yep.
Having a convention.
Or reading stories.
Right.
At the library. Listen, if this is the whole thing with the whole, like, it's like, when did it become, like, when I was in school, and it wasn't that long ago, wasn't like we were walking through snow to school, okay? But people weren't allowed to come. Like, there wasn't that much of a shortage of story readers where you were desperate enough to have, you know, cross-dressers come and read stories. Because here's the thing. It no longer becomes about Mother Goose. It becomes about Mother, you know, Bruce. Mom, there was this guy dressed as a lady, and he was reading us stories. What was the story about? I don't know, but he had a wig on.
But I think it was a goose. So is it Mother Bruce?
It defeats the whole purpose. You're trying to do a good deed.
Right.
We're going to go feed the homeless, but we're going to wear Speedos all day long. It's like you're making a statement. It doesn't. I don't even think people want the food anymore.
No.
It's like
I don't even know
unsanitary.
I don't even know if the homeless would take it.
They wouldn't. Like, I don't
They'd
do
be
that.
They'd be like, I got standards.
It's like, yeah, I'll take my chances at the trash can, dude. I have my standards. Seriously, that's what it's come down to, and it's like, and to say no, now you're the bad guy.
Right.
I don't want that. Why don't you want that?
Right.
They're just reading. Not just reading. Just reading would be just voice coming out of a speaker. Mm-hmm. That's just reading.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. This is like 2 hours of prep.
Yeah.
And then reading. Yeah.
Didn't just wake up this way.
Did you wake up like this? Again, I don't have a problem if that's what you want to do in your house. That I don't have a problem. Even that's what you want to do, and you want to go out to dinner, okay? But if you come to dinner, okay, listen to. Don't places have like a dress code standard, right? They go like no shirt, no shoes, right? Okay, so Mr. No Shoes on the park bench couldn't be at certain dining establishments, including McDonald's. Put the shoes back on to walk in, okay? Maybe it's for insurance purposes, but they have standards, okay?
Right.
But some restaurants will even say you need to put a jacket on,
Right.
right? And if you don't have one, they'll have one to give you.
Right.
Even though you're just eating, but they're like, we have standards here, right? Okay, so now if you come over there, full Doubtfire, right?
Oh dear.
It's like, I don't need a suit. I brought my wig. We're gonna dine as female tonight. Do they have a right to refuse service? And if they do, now they're on trial.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like this one took the first punch, and now you can't even defend yourself.
Well, and I think that, so I had this would have been 2002. I worked for this guy that was in the middle of a transition, so he'd have his nails done and all that, but he clenched his fist, so he'd hide it. I finally went into the office and I'm like, dude, like, nobody cares. Like, if that's how you want to live your life, but the corporation told him, like
We can't see it.
no, they told him that's fine, but he was trying to get into the ladies' bathroom at that point. And they said no.
No. That's a no.
Yeah. But it was like, and then, so it first started with the nails, then it was like, we're like, hey, we don't, like, live your life, dude. Like, whatever you want to do, your sin's no different than my sin, but, like, you go do you and be you. But if you're going to do it, go all in. Don't be trying to hide it.
Yep. I mean, I brought up Miss Doubtfire. At the time, what made that movie so hilarious or like groundbreaking was like the extent to which this man would go to, right?
Right.
But like the highlight, like when things got out of control, where like he comes out and he's got like the lipstick on, and it's like, hey, what's going on, right? There's been times where these topics have come up, but it was more like about the accidental outing of it. Not that they don't exist. There's always been a fringe. Okay? They've existed. But it's when they got accidentally brought to light. That like, oh, you know, like the baker, yeah, you know, he wears like ladies' underpants. It's like, ooh, weird. I'll tell you what, my dad would have been the type of person, he'd be like, we're getting a new baker. Like, that's it. We're eating bread somewhere else now. Like, it would make a difference. It would make the difference for him. He would not take that bread anymore. And it's not like the baker wearing different underwear changes the recipe, but it was his standards. It's like, I have a standard. I don't want to do that.
No.
Okay? And that's it. It's like, look, you want to do that? That's your choice. I also don't want to eat here anymore. and you know, like that's part of the freedom situation. You can't force someone to say, you know what? No. You should. Look, we just said, like in our own example, if we can use our example as fact, the homeless have a choice not to eat from the free food being handed out by men in thongs, right? Like, they just don't have to eat it.
Right.
You can't force them. And be like, well, you need the food. Why wouldn't you eat it? Is it because these people look weird? Is it because they dress different than you? So we can't have, like, the overcorrection either.
Yeah.
Let people decide for themselves. If you're going to let someone walk around like that, let people be free to get up and move.
I agree.
And can't judge them. Can't judge them for doing it.
Right. And then it's not a racist thing.
It's not racist. It's not gender bias. It's not being closed-minded. It's just a preference. They got a preference. I got a preference too.
Right. And I don't want to sit here.
And one preference isn't better than the other, or isn't more right than the other.
Right.
So, does he have a right to be there? Yes.
Yeah.
Is he breaking some indecency? Close, but no. Like I think pants, right? He kept the pants on. He let the belly out.
Cargo shorts on.
Right. But, do people have a right to just be like, like I don't want to be here anymore, because this is getting to be a weird situation, and yeah, I guarantee you, the moms got up at it shortened the amount of time that they were going to stay. Yeah.
Although
his presence affected their time.
Yeah, and then there's probably the thing of like the kids wanting to stay too.
Right. Right. Or even now, having been exposed, not in that way, but having been exposed to that, like let's say tomorrow you're like, hey, Billy, you need to put your shirt on. It's like, no, I don't. That guy didn't have his shirt on. I don't need to put my shirt on. Right? So it's like,
Billy, you're my friend, and I'm going to tell you need your shirt on.
You need your shirt on. when you're all alone and you want to go and sunbathe your volcano, you do that on your own time. In the meantime, I'd say the shirt is on.
The shirt is on.
That's it. Volcano out.
All right.
Well, so much for the run.
Yeah, that was there was a lot to think about.
Yeah, we can all blame Seinfeld for this,
True.
That's it. We are going to. That's it. We'll send a bill. Send your therapy bill to Jerry Seinfeld, care of American Express.
We got your back.
Yes.
All right.
Oh well. I think maybe we'll get to the trip.
Yeah, we'll get to the trip in the next one.
On the next one.
Yeah.
See how that one goes.
All right.
Belly man.
Peace
out.